Hello, how you doing? My name is Zachary Wiseman,
I'm Zach Odom.
and we're going to be explaining to you how to do the YMCA physical work capacity test.
This is a submax cycle test that is designed to assess your VO2 max. All right, the first thing that you're going to want to do is establish a baseline heart rate and blood pressure for the client, then get their body weight and put that into kilograms to use in the max heart rate equations and the ending equations for assessing VO2 max.
Okay, to begin the assessment, you want to make sure that the height of the seat is at hip level with the client. You also want to make sure that the client maintain a 5 to 10% bend in their knees as they do the assessment.
So I have the client on the bike. I have him fixed with a blood pressure cuff. I have a stopwatch. First things first, you're going to want to get the client going at 50 RPMs. Now, throughout the protocol, you are able to go, give or take, 2 RPMs. So you go down to 48, you go up to 52. You want the client to maintain the speed at 50. There's a little bit of leeway. So you want to stress to the client, try to keep it at 50 RPM. Once they get to 50 RPM, you will raise the KP for stage 1 to half a KP. Right there will be half a KP. They maintain the 50 RPM. I'll double check the bike to make sure it's at half KP, and then you begin your timer. During the test, we're measuring heart rate for 2 reasons. To make sure that there's an increase in heart rate with each increase in workload, and that the client does not reach over 85% of the age predicted heart rate max for that specific client.
And we're also checking the client's blood pressure to make sure that it doesn't exceed a systolic blood pressure of 250, and it also doesn't drop 10 below the resting blood pressure of the client. And we're also checking for the diastolic to make sure that it doesn't exceed 115.
All right, so your client has started the test. At a minute 30 on your stopwatch, you are going to begin to get ready to palpate heart rate. So you'll grab the client's arm, set it on your shoulder, and palpate heart rate. You'll do that for 15 seconds to get your heart rate. So I got his heart rate. You will then write that down. Then immediately begin blood pressure. You get blood pressure, you write that down, and then you immediately assess heart rate again for 15 seconds. You get that heart rate, you record your information. All right, the specific protocol during each of these stages goes like this. For the first minute and 30 seconds, the client is cycling. A minute 30 to a minute 45, you're going to want to be ready to palpate heart rate. From 1 minute 45 seconds to 2 minutes is when you will record their heart rate. 2 minutes to 2 minutes and 45 seconds is when you are getting the client's blood pressure. 2 minutes and 45 seconds to 3 minutes is when you again get their heart rate again. So if the heart rate is not within 5 beats a minute, you will keep going on that stage. So if it's within 5, in this specific situation, the client's heart rate was 102 and then 105. That's within 5. We are then able to move on to stage 2. If you did not reach steady state and the heart rate was not within 5, you keep the stage going, and then you will then assess heart rate from 345 to 4. You get that in range, then you can move on to the next stage. All right, you established the heart rates in stage 1. He is now able to move on to stage 2. Protocol has his KP moving up to 1, and you will do this for 3 minutes. Check and make sure it's at 1 kp. It's at 1 kp. He's maintaining the 50 RPMs, give or take 2. Stage 2 is now started. Your timer's still going. He has now been cycling for 1 minute and 30 seconds. So I will begin to palpate heart rate and take this for 15 seconds. That heart rate, write that down, and immediately go into blood pressure. You got blood pressure, you record that, and then immediately back into heart rate. You get heart rate, record that information. Because he got to steady state, I'm now able to move on to stage 3. His heart rates were 112 and 116, so this is the first time that it's been over 110. 2 successive stages of a heart rate over 110 signifies a stop in the test. In this stage, this will require an up in KP to 1.5. So up that, the client maintains that 50 RPMs. I'll double check to make sure it's at 1.5 KP. And your timer's still going. At 1 minute 30 is when you will begin to measure heart rate. 2 minutes is when you'll begin to do blood pressure. 2 minutes and 45 seconds to do heart rate again. All right, it's reached 1 minute 30. I'll begin to do heart rate. Time that for 15 seconds, starting at 1 minute 45. That heart rate, record that, and immediately go into blood pressure. Record that, and back into heart rate for 15 seconds. Record the heart rate,